Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another caster series on EGC TV. My name is Harrison, and we're back for the second semi-final of the African Championships of this $1,500 tournament. Our two players today competing to get their way to the final is Ezad and Azank. Ezad here spawning into the southwest of the map, playing as the Ethiopian civilization in the colour blue. What's he looking at here, top side? Oh, it's Tamin and Pumbaa! It's the 100 XP treasure. What a great treasure to find to kick you off the game. And yeah, even if the 12 XP gets to Mother Nature, that's not really much an issue. You should be able to get your first shipment at a super early time. There you go, that's gets to 100 and only about 40 to go. What a great start. His opponent is A's the Tame Elephant, and he'll be spawning to the northeast of the map in the colour red, playing as the Hausa civilization. He's got his granary down, he's got his market down, he's still got his all four of his cattle here ready to go. But will we see any of these cattle go into the markets? Not too sure, actually. Would he go for the house and food tech, or would he go for the Hausa rush? And maybe his early deck will give us an indication. He hasn't got the 10 infantries, so I'm expecting to see one of these go poof very quickly and be sold at the market, get the house down, and then send in your 3 villagers behind. I could be wrong. He does have the 4 cattle. We'll check back in with A's to see what his strategy is there. 75 wood, top side, 35 wood there. Has he seen that? He has not seen it. That's a bit of a shame for A's, but he's seen them. He's seen both. He's going to pick this one off and probably chaos ability the other treasures. So that's a really nice scouting there from Ezad. And this is just map awareness of knowing roughly where these treasures spawn. They certainly spawn closer to the outside of the ring than the inner, so it's a bit of a shame how A's did not see any of these 2 treasures here. Checking back in with A's, I'm still seeing a 10-10 here. He's going cattle. This may be a sell at the market and buy for some food. Looking to age up really fast here. Sacrificing economy for tempo. A really strong way to play the House of Civilization, we've all come to realise. He's going to do the old classic way of eating the cattle instead of trying to sell the cattle and buy the food for more of an instant resource generation. There's another 4 cattle. And there's a 5th! The 5th's come out as well! What's this? 5 cattle, age 1. Semi-fattens as well, 250. Got a lot of other civs would love to have 5 250 food units in age 1. That's very strong. I mean, that's not even talking about the African bonus of selling the market. Just 5 of these on their own is very strong to have age 1. Azank here working on 80 coin by guarded by 2 lions. Not the greatest treasure to have, but I suppose with the chaos ability, it's doable. Meanwhile here, Ezad has picked off another, as it's 75 wood guarded by the 2 lions top side. Does scout the 2 stray goats from 3 hyenas. So if he had his ability, he could go for it, but he wanted to invest his resources into the trading post, which he's already gathered in H1, so making good use of the treasures and just driving that tempo further and further forwards. Would he get his batch of experience here? You know what, he might actually, and that's just further illustrating how this explorer is so good. They move so fast, they build normal speed. Would he get it? It's going to be very close. I think he is. 3, 2, 1, buildings up. Ooh, half a second in it. If that was a German explorer slowly plodding his way across the map, minding his own leisurely time, taking a stroll through the savannah, he would have not made it in time. And yeah, mixing a cavalry explorer with European rifles, kiting fast, your scouting is fast, your combat is good, your treasure ability is amazing for for strong treasures. It's just an S++ tier explorer. It is so good. I think it's too good. And they look so amazing as well. Look at that. Look at the glorious headdress that the horse has got. Is it a horse? It's a horse. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. It's like it's part of Alexander's Greek army, but it's not. Because that was a horse. The other one's a camel. Where's that camel boy gone? There he is. That's what I thought. I've only just realised that they're 2 different units. I thought they're the same camel rider. They're the same stats, I guess. Just one's got a horse and one's got a camel. Anyway, Ezad here, aging up here. 2 hunts. We've got 30 population ready to go. Aging up there with the J-Swits. Looking at his deck, 1v1 does have CM in deck. J-Swit influence age 2. 4-ville Big Benny knows 700 coin. A lot of people not having 700 coin in their deck. Just making good use of Big Benny have double shipment to get you either 900 coin or 900 food basically instantly. There's the Guest Kenya and the Shotel Warriors. Hand Cannons making a presence as well. And Azank playing as a Hausa, sending Watchtower forward. There we go. Watchtower aggression coming in from A's, but he's not playing this with the tower, with the Desert Infantry. He's going for Desert Raiders, which, you know, I think defensive war camp here, the Battery Guest Kenyas, that should be absolutely fine. Bit of town center fire. A bit of defensive rifles as well from the huts with multipliers versus siege troopers, which are the Raiders. Actually should be a very good defensive move here for Ezad. Az has got another shipment ready to go. He's just sent Royal Banquets. He's got 1,000 infants to go. He's got rid of all his camels. He's all in. First shipment here is going to be the Sudanese, and he's got to then pivot into Berber allies or maybe go for another batch. No, he's just gone for another batch of raiders from the Watchtower. So he's all in. Berbers, 5 Desert Infantry, and Sudanese. And how can Ezad defend this massive push here from A's? 520. He's turning up with so many units. Not as fast as the classic Desert Infantry rush that the build, the kind of meta's kind of gone onto now. But here's the 5 Guest Kenyas. Ezad, he's sending wood. Oh, I don't think he's going to have enough units to defend here, actually. He's going to lose a hut. And doesn't quite know how aggressive and how all-in A's is at the moment. But, yeah, 5 units is not going to be enough. He's going to be in for a very rude awakening when he just... Desert Infantry turn up as well. Desert Infantry can certainly match Guest Kenyas. They won't win, but they can trade. But it's all this Desert Rise as well, putting on the pressure. And it's the Sudanese behind. They'll demolish these guys. These are very clear anti-infantry. Scouts in the Watchtower now. This is the moment where Ezad realizes, oh no, there's a Watchtower here. Scouts, Desert Infantry, another batch of Desert Infantry, and Sudanese. Oh no. 2 shipments ready to go. He needs to send shipments back to back. Build war huts, send shipments. His first shipment likely to be Guest Kenya. And actually, he might need to call his CM card very quickly to try and defend. In comes the big batch of Desert Infantry. This is what Ezad sees. It's not a pretty sight. Let's go into the global view. Raiders just taking down a trading post. These guys could probably cause a lot of idle time anyway. But here comes the Sudanese and the Desert Infantry. These units are incredibly strong. 24 siege on them. Sudanese obviously only have an 8 siege, but these guys are they move fast, they do ranged melee damage, they fire fast in close range as well. Kind of skirmisher style units destroying. These are basically the equivalent of the Norse throwing axemen, if that's the best way to kind of get an analogy of what type of units these are, doing melee damage from range, countering infantry. Here comes the Guest Kenya shipment, but it's going to be very close to Desert Warriors and Sudanese. Ace is being tentative. He's not actually really wanting to go in. Now he has to go in. He has got the Explorer right into his units. Sudanese need to focus on the infantry instead of the Explorer, but it's gone down very quickly to the Guest Kenyas, the Desert Warriors, you know, faster firing and a strong melee attack. Here comes Guest Kenyas trying to get into melee combat versus Raiders. Raiders falling everywhere. Look at this melee attack versus cavalry. It's 48 in the H2. Very strong. Much better than a pikeman. It's much better than a pikeman at being a pike, and much better than a musketeer at being a musketeer. But unfortunately, there's 11 cavalry units on the field to start from A's and a whole bunch of infantry. Ezad, he's got stuff coming, but he just didn't have the time to get everything on the board together. His army is absolutely cleaned up. His war cavalry is now under threat. 6 Shotel Warriors being sent. The GG has been called, and the game's over already. 7 minutes 30. Hausa Tower Rush from Azank claims another victim on the... Well, no, it's not the ladder. This is a tournament game, and yeah, wow. House of Tower Rush. Not even the most OP version of the House of Tower Rush. Still taking down Ethiopia, so... Is Hausa an S+++ Civ at the moment? You hate to see games get over this quickly, don't you? I think Ezad was just like tucking into his starter on the menu then. Meanwhile, A's was saying to the waiter, "Hey waiter, can I please have my starters, my main, and my desserts all in one batch, and let's go." It's just so much stuff here, and it's just how fast you can get all these units on the board by just selling cattle, and it's the instant mechanic. It's not the this is worth this amount of resources, because no one's actually gathering resources. It's instant, it's in your back, it gives you tempo, it gives you aggression, and if your opponent doesn't scout it, if your opponent's not going full defense, they die. If they scout it and go full defense, they still may die. I was playing versus I was drunk on the ladder or custom game, I said I want to try versus the House Tower Rush versus a well-executed build, unholdable. I did a really good Age 1 for Germany, going Desert Infantry defense. They Desert Infantry, they train fast in Uhlans. I can send crossbows afterwards, and if I have my units gathering resources, I can send Minutemen. I'd overrun, couldn't do anything. And I feel Ezad feels the same helplessness in this game as I have versus some players on ladder, which makes me feel a little bit better. It's not only us we have to deal with these rushes, and the Ezad, unfortunately, falling to the mighty A's. A's taking 1-0. Well, now Ezad knows how A's played. Will he do the same for game number 2? Let us find out as we move on. Let's go into game number 2. A's currently leading 1-0, and let's see what the map's going to be. I didn't show this post game. No, my bad. But we all know we all know what happened. Basically, just unit shipments and a lot of them. But okay, we're into game 2. We're on the Gold Coast, and I wonder who actually picked this map to be on the Gold Coast. I think this is a very good defensive map to play on. Although you can be aggressive, there's you certainly have access to 2 hunters, defensive elephants here, 5k gold, a nice TP to the side with a long trading route as well. You can see where this caravel is at all times, so very useful for trying to time when you actually do want to make your trading post as well. That's a strong ability, actually seeing where the caravel is at all times. So yeah, Ezad versus A's. We're into the next game. Hausa versus Ethiopia again, but this time Ezad is playing as the Hausa, and he's in the colour blue, working his way on 85 XP treasure by 2 crocodiles. Actually gets to kill on the crocodile as well, so that's up to 100 XP, and that'll be 110, and that should be his first shipment there and then, really early. Just a good, strong opening up there from Ezad. He's got an extra 50 wood. I think that's there from treasures. I'm not seeing any indication here of going for a house. He's sending 4 Sanga cattle. We have a 10-10 tower rush again coming from Ezad. So the meta looks like it's shifted onto basically all-in aggression here from Hausa. Can A's hold it? Can A's scout it? Let's look at Ezad's deck. And yes, he does have the Desert Infantry shipment. This is more the classic build order we do see on the ladder, terrorizing everybody at the moment. And A's will expect this is on its way, and I'm sure he will try and think of a way to play defensive. He's got 1v1. He's going with Abens first. For some reason, I thought he was going to send Aroma Migrants first. I'm like, that's a very preemptive, like, I'm going to send my villager card in case I lose all my vills. But yeah, he does have 6 Guest Kenya. He has a Fort Wagon, 6 Berbers. I don't think he'll send Berbers here. He has 9 Cannoneers. Yeah, the Guest Kenya is going to work really well, but I've just a feeling, I'm worried that the cannons will get destroyed by, fast-moving Desert Infantry and cavalry spam. The Berber allies will be very nice, but the Desert Infantry just going to melee and just clean. There's going to be a lot of them as well. Will Ezad back this up with Desert Raiders, or will he go for Desert Infantry from the Watchtower? We'll have to see. I mean, I'm assuming he's going Watchtower, but like, when you're doing this build, yeah, you go Watchtower, don't you? Send Watchtower forward map. And, yeah. The other thing I've really, I wanted to post on the forums is that the African civilizations get access to African outlaws on every single map, which is, I guess, it's a similar thing to the USA. And actually, the USA not getting access to African outlaws on African maps is a bit of a nerf to the USA in its own right, and makes some matchups, I feel, just unplayable on non-African maps. Like, I have no idea how Germany holds this with no Desert Infantry. I've heard people say Doppelsonders, but you can't go Doppelsonders versus a 10 Musketeer shipment coming in at 4 minutes 20 odd from Hausa. It's a very tough situation. So the Egypt coming in here behind is going to be the Sudanese Egypt there from Azank. Looks like Ezad aging up now already with the Songhai. Has built 3 huts down, so he's sold some of his Sanga cattle to get that. So he's got his population space, he's mining coin, he'll gather the coin crates on the age up. He will be sending those 10 Desert Infantry as soon as possible. Look at this, it's an Outlaw Combat card in Age 1. In my opinion, this should be an Age 3 card. Yeah, having a Mercenary Combat, Outlaw Combat, and yeah, having just outlaw double-carded desert infantry, essentially. Oh my god, they're so strong. Just unbelievably strong. Azank worked on 2 lines here. Guarding 75 wood. We have the Aben nearby, keeping Naud nice and healthy here. Full HP. Obviously, the lions are attacking each other instead of the common enemy of the explorer. This lion is now confused, watching his watching his other lion go down after he basically bit him to death. And yes, Az here is going to clean up quite quickly. And actually, he's not losing any HP because the Aben is just healing him up all the way back to full HP. Making good use of this age 1 Aben and just taking his treasure and not losing a single HP. That's just so strong. But here we go. Desert infantry being sent, coin being collected, camp builder moving forward. Is he going to build a war camp? Or is he going to build a watchtower? I think he's going to build a watchtower. And where's he going to place that watchtower? Probably quite far forward. Azan's moving forward with his own building here. He's gone native embassy forward. He did age up with the Sudanese, remember, so he does have access to Sudanese warriors, which are very strong versus infantry. But, yeah, pretty woeful versus cavalry, and I know for a fact that you'll get some desert raiders out on the map here. Oh, hang on a minute. Can you get Sudanese out before this watchtower is completed? This could be a huge play from Az. Let's look at it from his point of view. So we know what's coming in from Ezad, but currently not training anything, not training anything, not training anything. In base, war hut's going down. He's built a war camp at home, a bit far from the town centre. Aben in queue from the mountain monastery, gets Kenya as well, but nothing being trained from native embassy. I think that will go down very, very quickly. The watchtower about to be completed. 35 XP from the outpost wagon. Very, very nice. Let's look at Ezad's point of view. And bam, there is 10 strong musketeers on the field, sieging straight away. And from Ezad's point of view, let's see what else he's going. He's training now a batch of desert raiders. How much cattle has he got behind? What's he selling behind this? I think he's trying to get enough to get a batch of 5 or 4. He's got enough coin now to go for the sell all cattle at the markets to get lots of influence. That's a batch of 5 raiders and raiding cavalry there being sent from Hausa. 6 raiders. This is a strong card in its own right. I think it's on the same par as 5 Cossacks. Not stronger, but same level of strength. It's a strong card. There's the 5 desert raiders. Here comes the raider. Big button from the watchtower with 6 raiders coming in behind. This is going to be 16 cavalry units at 5 minutes and 6 minutes. Okay, well, let's say 5 minutes 40. He's already got 10 cavalry and 10 infantry. Here come the second batch of Kenyas. And yeah, mercenary cannons are coming in. Actually, it's a pretty decent defense from Az already. Yeah, it's actually a really good defense from Az. What's going on here? What's going on here? Okay, Desert Raiders going into hand combat, bypassing these guys' melee resist with their siege attack. Here comes another batch of raiders here. But yeah, the hand cannon's going to do so much work behind this. Maybe the native embassy here was a bit of a bait to try and slow us down. But the infantry line is being crushed at the moment, exposing the soft underbelly of the cannoneers. The Gettonians are falling very quickly. And what looked to be a very good defensive line here from Az is actually looking to be a very good defensive line here from Az. He's managed to hold back the Hausa all in. There comes the 6th Kenya shipment behind. So 1-0 to the House of Russia, 1-0 to the Ethiopian defense. And Azad's leading the series at 2-0. Didn't expect that, but then again, like if there's a civ which can hold the House of Rush, is going to be Ethiopia or Hausa, one of the strongest civs in the game at the moment, and tools were there for Azad at his disposal. I want to suggest that he did eat some cattle age 1 to get up to the first age a bit quicker. He did age super fast. Let's look at the post game. Let's look at the villagers and the populations on the age up. So Azank going for the 12-10 age up, so 9 age up with 12, eating some cattle. I don't think any other civ in the game can really do the same thing what Az did of going for the super fast age. I suppose actually aging at the same time as a 14-ville Dutch, maybe a really strong 12-10 French, but I think 12-10 French is even later than this. But obviously the French, they don't have influence to send, so they don't have this extra resource available, and their European musketeers and crossbows are much worse than Kenyas. And I think if let's say he was playing French and held with pikes and musks, he just wouldn't have enough to do with the desert infantry. And if you go crossbows and desert infantry, well, you just get cleaned up with a cav. The 10-10 here from Ezad. Let's look at the resources as well, because this is going to be a big jump for both players. There's a bit of buying and selling from both players in Age 1. Just kicking the economies into overdrive. And for me, just further cementing that these two civs are very strong, and why we've seen so many Ethiopian mirrors, Hausa mirrors, Ethiopia versus Hausa, just dominating the meta at the moment. And maybe A's has given light and hope to all those people facing Hausa that you can do it with the Ethiopians. Look at this batch of pop, 20 mil pop, 40 mil pop. We've got to remember Siege Raiders, or the Camel Raiders, and Desert Infantry are 2 pop each. So probably military unit count is a better metric to go by. I think that's a fair metric to go by. And yeah, still 25 units, 23 units, and defensive town centre of fire. There's the 6 Guest Kenyas coming in. And yeah, just enough to hold on. But yeah, just Guest Kenya's proven, again, why they're the strongest musketeers in the game. Age 2 with their 48 damage versus cavalry and melee, and dominating range fire as well. So yeah, GG to both players. Both players is showing the strengths of their civs. Anything else I want to look here? Not really, to be honest. That was a quick, fast, explosive game to be expected from African games. Right, let's go on to game number 3 of our second semi-final between Ezad and A's. A's still leading 2-0. Time for the counter sweep there from Ezad, and that's very nice from Ezad, dropping the GG. Well played. I suppose when both players are playing Africa, it's very nice to show appreciation for good skill. If A's was playing anything else, if A's was playing anything else, Ezad would have won that, and they would never see the GG well played. Anyway, game number 3. A's playing as the Ottoman civilization on Darfur, and Ezad playing as the Hausa, so you'd have to anticipate a bit of a matchup advantage here for Hausa. But what I have seen recently from Ottoman players is playing uber defensive. Like, when I say uber defensive, I'm talking about towers in base, 4 town centres, advanced buildings, frontier outpost cart, sending the forts. That's a way to go versus Hausa. Tries to hold their all-in rush if they do go all-in rush, and then you actually have follow-up because you have your buildings producing villages for free, and yeah, you can secure map for the town centres. It's not ideal. We do see the early train post as per standard there from the Ottoman player, picking up the coin behind. Mosque as well, chopping enough wood here for a house as well. So looking to go for a house and send 3 villagers instead of maybe going, leaving the crates and going for a silk trade on the 4 wood crates and the food crate, and then trying to have silk trade age up on the 700 wood, 700 coin, and then 1000 wood coin. Looking at this deck, he's got a land deck. Doesn't suggest he's going Nizam Fusiliers, but with 8 Jans, 12 Jan, 9 Infinite Jan, and Jan Oglin's School of Combat, 2 Bombards. There's a suggestion here that A is maybe looking to try to play defensive Nizam FI, which I'm excited to see. I was going to play a Nizam FI once, and then I got scared and went for Jan Abus Age 2 and controlled the map, took the game, and won. But we certainly all do love a bit of Nizam action, don't we? The only question is, will he have time to get the build order done until the Hausa basically lays waste to the base? That's if, and only if, they're going for the aggression here. We do see the house from Ezad, granary coming down, and I think that's just enough indication from Ezad that he's going to play a little bit of a different style game in this game. Don't see the 10 Desert Infantry, I suppose, versus Ottoman, Jans, Abuses. Not guaranteed success. I think it's fair to say Ottoman age up very fast as well, one of the fastest civs, because they don't spend any resources training their villagers. Gotta say, nice herds in here. A Vil stuck at the granary. News just in. Dun dun dun. 1 Vil stuck in the granary because the animals hug the edge of the wall of the granary. Back to you in the studio. And yes, back to me. Ezad picking up a wood treasure. Is he going for the Berber play that Nushabur went? No, I don't think Ezad has seen Nushabur's game by this time, and I think the Nushabur's trade empire for this map was a very smart decision, but versus like a civ like Ottoman, they're always going to take that first trading post. It's certainly a little less. But you know, when you, it could always be quite nice to deny them the even thinking about going for a second TP. But I think also need to because of the mosque in base, which is being buffed as well as all the other churches. Let's look at Ezad's deck in a little bit more detail and let's run a comb through it. So we do see Outlaw Combat, House of Kingdom we saw which Fitz sent earlier, which is, in H1 sends you a University Builder, but if you send it just as you get to that second stage, you get a University Builder and a Trade Builder, which builds you a trading post. We have Fulani Cattle Fertilizer, so literally villagers shoveling shit here. We'll get to gather resources from fields faster and construct more quickly. 15% on both food and coin is actually a really strong tech. That's basically full in mills and cigar roller. What's the first one? Rum distillery for in one card. That's a huge card. It's a very strong card that is. And then we have Koos grants a small sum of food for each of your fields on the map. Improves field gathering rate for fields. So he's just going to play the eco game and just going to show us if Hausa is a strong booming civ. Yes, you're right. The grounds are free. I don't think Ezad deleted the Vil. I can't imagine he deleted the Vil for that. Yeah, the granaries are free. They boot slow, but they are essentially free. University coming down. War camp going down. University not being built forward to secure the Sudanese outpost here. We've been seeing Fitzbro show us how the base building of Hausa is being done. Azank here opting to go Sudanese himself, going Sudanese dervishes on the 700 wood. I gotta say, these units are very strong. I'm expecting to see a bit of a French meta pickup. Obviously, French having native combat in the third age. I think they have team native combat in the second age. So they have some, native upgrades, native HP definitely with the Wilderness Warfare card, and with dervishes, the trading post costs 200 wood, and then these dervishes cost. Is it 50 food, 40 wood? I don't like how everything is an influence cost for the African civs. I built an arsenal with the Portuguese age up. I was like, okay, let's get counter infantry. I had 200 wood, 200 coin ready to go, and it said, sorry, you need 380 influence. I'm like, oh god, no, so annoying. But here comes House of Cavalry on top of skirmisher style units. 5 Jans being shipped to defend. We can't really see a pull trick. We could see an inversion trick here. Jan's being rushed to the front line. Will he do this? He's just going to pull back. Yeah, Jan's going to make their way naturally to the front line there. So I lost 2 dervishes there. Could have only lost to 1 if he did an inversion trick. But yeah, if I was going Az's point of view, yes, these guys cost 50 food, 40 wood, and I think they just utterly outclass a crossbowman in all ways. Basically, 5 speed, 30% range resist, a little bit less range, but they do melees. And quite a lot of crossbows, they do go up against either archer style units with the range resist or melee units like heavy infantry, but they have a small multiplier. And dervishes, faster firing rate, multiplier versus heavy infantry, and when they get into close combat, they just demolish with their faster firing rate. So I can imagine crossbows just fading out of meta these days and just going into native units, or the African outlaws from the saloon, which I've even had a tiny bit of success going saloon units with the Swedes. I've been doing saloon semi-FF with Dutch, with Germany to good effect. No reason to train pikes anymore as Dutch versus Germany on an African map. Just go saloon. And I even enjoyed doing vet, desert infantry, and skirmisher combination as the Dutch in the third age. I think that's a sleeper OP combination. Is just nothing can really beat Musk Skirm when the skirms are vet combat. The desert infantry are vet tech from the saloon. So yeah, lots of strong things being shown on this map in particular. So a raiding base here for Ezad does kill. I think they kill 1 Vil, but does lose 2. Minutemen being called. Obviously, Minutemen having multipliers versus Raiders. These are class of siege units like the Step Riders and get demolished by Minutemen. So you've got to be careful anytime you see Minutemen. You do need to run. It's not worth taking 52 ranged attack from a Minuteman in range. Desert Riders trying to engage the Jan. And the dervishes, they do have a multiplier versus Desert Riders, and obviously Desert Riders, the Javelin Riders don't have a melee resist. So actually going to do some good damage there. Javelin Riders are getting sat down straight away. But here come the Raiders. Minutemen are too far behind. They must have stopped walking for a tiny bit, but 1 HP anyway. And that's a nice catch there from Ezad. So a lot of resources to lose there from A's, and you've got to remember, when you're playing as the Ottoman, you don't really have a colony behind to back everything up here. 1 HP Minutemen, expecting the Raz to go get his rifle out and pick these guys off. Bit of micro here from the Javelin Riders, wouldn't go amiss onto the 1 HPs. But yeah, Dervishes with the 14 range, outranging the Javelin Riders, so got to be a bit careful in that sense. Let's look at the Ottoman card progression. He's sent himself 700 wood, 5 Jans. Has he sent 3? He's sent 3 Hassan now. It went 700 wood, 5 Jan. I can't remember if he went 700 coin before 600 wood, but I think it might be 700 coin, 600 wood, now 3 Huss afterwards. Yeah, he needed the 700 coin for the Jan production. He's got a lot of Janissaries on the field now, 18 of them, and 3 Hussars has been shipped after to try and get the snare on Ezad's units. Ezad doesn't really have too much on the field at the moment. Sending in Lafidi Knights and more Javelin Raiders, and Lafidi Knights, they should be able to tank everything here. A bit of trample damage will kill the minutes very quickly. That batch is going to get picked off quickly, so he's got to pull back. Don't engage until your units together. And even losing 2 Javelin Riders like that before the rest join is not ideal. But here come the Lafidi Knights. Melee resist and range resist. What's the point of having both of these resists? Just have more HP. Bit confusing. Super strong. Just tanking everything. The Lafidis are running away, but they haven't really lost a unit yet. Just 1 unit after being focused by all these infantry whatsoever. I think Ezad's trying to bait A's under the town centre for so A's can taste a bit of his own medicine. Just still a distinct lack of units here from Ezad. And there's the 3 Hussars. The Javelin Riders and Lafidis will do quite well, but it's actually if A's plays his cards right, and keeps the Hussars nearby to the Janissaries and not give them up for free, the cattle market's going down, and with no cattle market, you can't trade resources. Ezad's got a lot of he's got lots of resources. He's thrown down a couple of houses. He might sell for a batch of gold. None of them get converted just yet, which is pretty useful. Training a batch of Fulani archers, sending Fulani archers, but the villagers are exposed behind the town centre now, and this is forcing the engagement, which Ezad does not want to take at the moment. Janissary is going to hand combat. Lafi is trying to kind of stick around as long as possible, distracting and maximise the attack done by the Javelin Riders. Here come the villagers in their range combat. They do very terrible. This standard unit villager stats. There's the Fulani shipment. 8 being shipped, 5 being trained behind. The Hussars going down. The town centre's focusing. The Javelins trying to focus them down as well. And behind this, the Fulani archers should be enough to trade here. But a lot of villagers have gone down here from Azank. Azank? Did I just say Ezad? Ezad. He does need to build a market trader, but he's got no wood and no regular markets to build to quickly trade. So he's going to need to throw it down quickly. The Jans are in range of the Fulanis, and they're reinforcing back to Jans, cutting these guys off, forcing them to change their path. A lot of pickups here. Fulani archers, they have 17 range, and Ezad just needs to run and just try and create the distance before turning the Jans. Obviously, the Sudanese, they have 5 speed. They'll just keep chasing these archers down. And if the Sudanese went into the front line, went into the melee, and tried to get the snaring on the Fulani archers, the Jans will be able to follow behind and kill them behind. So at the moment, some really good strategies here from A's going Dervishes, Janissaries, age 2. This is definitely a strategy you just wouldn't expect from Ezad's point of view. It's probably got him a little bit ill prepared. The thing is, what's worrying me now for Ezad, he's gone through his Fulani archer cards and he's got no mass. So it's going to be hard for him to get that Fulani archer mass again. Picking up 3 Janissaries, pretty poor versus cavalry. That's a nice pickup. Actually microing this explorer quite well. Oh, this is a tense game. Scores even. Another batch of raiders here. Town Centre's still working its damage. Hasn't elected to send his Town Centre card. He hasn't got it in his deck. Town Centre CM defense. And A's with his Crate Eco playing as the Ottoman. He's starting to run out of steam in the colonial age. He's only got 24 vils, which is still respectable in its own right, but Silk Trade does nothing. Advanced Arsenal does something, but quite expensive to tech into. He's only got Palace Intrigue, which again, there's nothing really in H2 that he can afford or to go for. Here come the Berbers from the Berber tech to try and get some anti-cavalry, which is mobile. Very nice here from A's. They are expensive though. Might get a fourth out, and they do train quite slow. Raiders going to get to the town centre, do their business, and probably be long gone before they come out. Jan's getting a nice pop, but only 3 Jans is it's actually quite a nice pickup there for Ezad if he turns on them. So many vehicles behind them on the drafts. This is a bit of map awareness from Ezad. He's trying to look for the hunt, but if you know that you've got drafts nearby and still hunting, and you can't see his drafts, and well, if they're not here and they're not here, well, they're either here or there. So if Ezad was looking for drafts, he didn't find them, but I think he's just trying to go for a natural path out the base, away from the Jans. He's going to come back in for a second bite of the cherry. Given the Janissaries the old little dupe there, send them the wrong way around. But out come the Berber camels, and you do make contact with raiders. That's going to be a disaster for Ezad. Remember, Ottoman has not sent ATP here, so all of these train posts were full price, quite expensive. And here come the 7.25 speed Berber camel riders chasing down 7 speed raiders. You need to try and maybe path behind the southern side here, but one villager hanging out to dry as tactical bait. Azank using his villagers as a bit of fishing bait there, and I think Ezad knows what's coming, and he's just like, oh my god, really? You train that counter unit for my cavalry? Why would you train that? And A's just showing the school of A's, the forts, the brain power that he has, and the experience that he's tactical awareness has. Actually, he's just dropping his explorer behind. That's actually quite nice, saving the cavalry. The explorer will get up later. Don't lose the javelin rise in hand combat though. They still get destroyed by Berbers. But then again, javelin rise in melee destroy Berber camel riders. I think javelin rise would actually win that. No, they don't. It's close though. They certainly win it cost effectively. Definitely. If you had 10 of these, you just turn on 8 or 7 camels, and you win a cost-effective trade there, which Osman can't afford because of the 10 with a huge 5 times multiplier. You know, Berbers have 23 times by 2, but Javelin Rise only costing 65 food, 50 coin. It's a fight they can take, but all the Janissaries still in the base for the time being. They've crossed the map. The villagers get into the town centre, and the Berber camels are enough for all the raiders and infantry army that Ezad has, but there's nothing here for the Janissaries. A couple Fulani archers, there's 9 on the field, but I'm just worried that a lot of villagers going down behind. There's a couple Berbers still standing. These guys with a 20% range resist, but 300 HP can tank quite a lot and put these Fulanis under a bit of pressure. Another camel rider coming out. Is Azank training more camels? I do see one camel rider crossing the deserts to join the fight, but Fulani archers are snared by the camel on the top and the bottom. They can't move. They're in range of the Janissaries, and the entire archer mass has been cleared by A's. Ezad calling the GG, and A's taking game number 3 of his best of final. And there we go. Second semi-final concluded. And the next series for you will be the finals between Neutral Bear and A's. Wow, another quick series. What's going on today? What is going on? I was thinking, oh, do I have time for 2 semi-finals today? And the short answer is yes, I definitely do, because they were electrically fast. This game, A's staying H2, going Jan Dervish combination, spamming the Dervishes onto 700 wood resource shipments here, and having a single racks behind. So instead of Azank being tempted to do something like go racks and saloon for desert archers and Jans, A's thinking, no, desert archers, too much population, too much coin. I need the coin for Jans, but I can send the wood in. I've got 2 wood crates. Let's send the wood in. Let's train those dervishes, and I've got what can go well with skirmishers or thrown axemen. Yeah, musketeers. Yeah, Janissaries. A great unit. Perfect. Great combination. So the great combination moves out, and Ezad not expecting Sudanese dervishes early in age 2. I want to say was planning to go for a semi-FF himself, try and get a couple units out, raid around. Oh, this is beautiful. It's nice sky. And yeah, looking to go into the 3rd age and try and play from there with these strong upgrade cards. Maybe 15 Cannoneers would do quite well at that point. And A's just continuously forcing the fight. There's a moment in that game where the livestock market went down, and Ezad's like, oh, it's quite awkward that I haven't got my livestock market up. Couldn't trade resources. Had a lot of resources, but not enough production. Maybe a second war camp could have been quite nice. And throughout this game, I think Ezad could have spent more resources at the livestock market to get a bit of a more mass. But I think Ezad was always thinking, right, if I can hold this and have enough castle left over, I can then age up and then use his castle to greater effect in the third age, spamming better units. But A's kept the pressure up, and the Berber camel switch certainly caught Ezad off a little bit there. Even though they managed to get his raiders out away from most of the camels, not having enough camel or javelin riders here from Ezad to counter or soft counter the Berber camels led to his downfall, and just didn't have enough at the end to win that fight. Game number 2 was a Hausa all-in tower rush versus 12-10 super fast age there from Ethiopia into 2 batches. I think it's one of those things that the Ethiopians can actually age up in time and send 2 batches of units, where other Civs can only get that 1 batch, and even if they counter the units, they just get overwhelmed, and the game usually ends there and then. But A's winning the second game, I think that's was a very, very good effort there from A's. I want to ask whether that forward native embassy was just bait. Was just like, hey, siege us down, slow yourself down. It's okay. I'll wait for you to mass your units because I'm going to mass my units. When Ezad came into the base, A's was ready. Gas Kenyas versus Desert Infantry. The best musketeer unit in the game versus the second best musketeer unit in the game. And the Gas Kenyas earned their title, managed to stand steadfast, win the range war versus Desert Infantry just about, but have massive 48 attack versus the Raiders and the Desert Raiders there from the House of Player, and was able to hold on for victory. And in game 1, A's just House of Tower rushed Ezad, and Ezad wasn't expecting it, and it was just like, well, that was simple, that was quick. I think this series even quicker than Neutrals and Fits. I'll have to get the calculator out to think about which one's quicker, but they're both dominant, quick, fast series, and I really do hope that the finals will have some meteor games, because we haven't really seen a single Age 3 come in yet, which is from someone like myself, a privileged member of the Semi-FF gang. It's unheard of territory finishing these games off this fast, but this is what the livestock market can do, is just, move your economy and resources around the map, around your economy so quickly that you can go for these fast timings. And, well, Aiamk just, going Jan, Dervish, winning the game. No one expected to. So, yeah, that was that as well. So, it's certainly well played for this game in particular. Let's have a quick look at the post-game to see if anything cool we can see. Villager population, just... Osman keeping up relatively well. A couple kills here and there. That first push on the town centre lost a few. And the economy from Ezad, which pushed behind the town centre, and the Jans kind of blocked their way for them to get into the town centre. Ezad did well to keep them out. I think he was just trying to trade off his military. You'll see around this point, military trade probably wasn't the best there for Ezad, and that final fight, villagers there were just having to tank, but they couldn't. And yeah, this fight in Ezad's base was, you could say, an alright trade. Military population doesn't really do justice, because dervishes don't cost population because they're native units. Military unit count, 35. Minutemen in there, some as well, they'll go down, but quite a few of these were stronger units. Eco was belled up, idled. A's with 2 towns, training posts, a lot of XP coming in, sending shipments. Yeah, it was really, really, really nice. I think Ezad, looking back, I think you could think maybe he could have got an extra batch of units in this area here, and then that would have changed this engagement, then this engagement, and then the whole entire game would not have snowballed from that earlier moment. All resources. Yeah. Pretty close. You can see obviously the cattle trading, but the idle time here is slowing the eco down, and Aids with steel trap eco behind us starting to catch up there. No stagecoach this game, I don't think. But yeah, that's all I needed to see that game. That was a good game and a good series. So GG's there for these players, and I won't see in the finals. The finals is going to be casted by Mr. Drongo and Mr. Jackson. Mr. Interjection. Obviously, Drongo and Injection cast in the finals, which should be kicking off in about an hour.